to the bill.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a public meeting as required by Section 78 of the Drainage Act to afford affected landowners an opportunity to make representation with respect to the engineer's report regarding the McCredie drain. Does any member of council have a disclosure of interest concerning this proposal? Seeing none. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the technical aspects of the engineer's report for the McCredie drain. Concerns regarding individual assessments will not be dealt with until after the final report has been considered, adopted, and a provisional bylaw passed. A meeting for the quarter revision regarding assessments will be scheduled at a later date. A notice will be mailed to the owner of every property that has been assessed into the subject drain. Mr. Brooks, I'm going to call on you as our Director of Infrastructure and Community Services to review the process to date.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The McCredie drain report was requested by Doug Terry Limited in 2019 under Section 78 of the Ontario Drainage Act. The municipality subsequently appointed Brad Bunke of GM Blue Plan to prepare the report. GM Blue Plan filed the report on July 2nd, and notices were sent to affected landowners and utilities notifying them of today's meeting.
Thank you. Now we're going to call on Brad Bunke, who's an engineer with GM Blue Plan Engineering, who will summarize the report for us. Go ahead, Brad.
Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Brad Bunke with GM Blue Plan Engineering. For those who haven't met before, understand council has a copy of the McCredie drain report. However, for the purpose of the presentation and considering the virtual format, I have a few slides that I'm going to share my screen with, if that's okay, and I can kind of walk through the design in the report. So I'm going to attempt to do this here quickly. Okay. And hopefully everyone can see a title page there. Okay. To start out, introduction and background that Jeff talked on mostly too as well. Doug Terry Limited filed a Section 78 request under the Drainage Act in November of 2019. And the improvement is to be made to the McCredie municipal drain. This drain, from the background we received, was constructed in 1962. Last reconstructed in 1986, and generally speaking, the existing system is as small as a 6-inch drainage tile and as large as an 18-inch tile into its outlet. Okay. For everyone's bearings, hopefully this shows up okay and not too crowded, but this is the location we're looking at. Running east-west near the bottom of the page is Southdale Line, and somewhat bisecting in a north-south direction is Centennial Road. The development that this drain is to support is the Harvest Run subdivision, or located on the west side of Centennial Road. And the blue line that's shown on the east side of Centennial Road towards the top of the page is the drain in question, the McCredie again, that we're looking to upgrade as part of the project. Okay. Won't go too much into this, but as part of the process, we held our on-site meeting with the developer's engineer and did confirm the McCredie drain is the preferred outlet for the development. This list shows some of the work that we've done in terms of the engineering to get to where we're at to date in terms of backgrounds. We've done some surveying, some utility coordination, some closed circuit TV inspections, as well as geotechnical investigation with the help of the municipality. We crossed 2 very large regional water mains, which I'll mention in a second, with this drainage system. So certainly some considerations there. Coordination as well with the developers, engineers, CJDL Engineering, in terms of the required outlet flow they're looking for this drain to handle. And also some work with the environmental agencies, some costs. We held an update meeting with some of the affected parties in February earlier this year. And last bullet, we're at the point of having now submitted our report. Okay. Just a couple quick points on design considerations. First of which, we've went through our typical environmental review as part of this project. There are no species at risk within the project area, which is a good thing, of course. We do have what's called a Class C drain under the Department of Fisheries and Oceans classification system as our outlet, which is the Mills drain. What that means practically here is that no in-water work for this project can occur between March 15th and July 15th of any given year. Talking to the developer, I don't think that's necessarily going to be a concern. Another design consideration was the utilities. As everyone can probably appreciate, there's a fair amount in the road at Centennial Road in terms of Rogers, Bell, Enbridge, a municipal water main as well. And then the two larger and most prominent utilities here, again, are those two regional water mains located east of Centennial Road, 750 millimeter diameter and a 900 millimeter diameter parallel water mains. And this is an excerpt from our drawing set, I should say. And what we're looking to do with our system, the two water mains are shown going into the page, and we're looking to essentially go above the 900 water main and below the 750 meter diameter water main. And that'll necessitate some temporary support during construction. So a little bit unique, but something we've done before with regional water too, as well with municipal drains. Okay. In terms of the sizing and where we came up with the size of drain that we're looking at, the grades that we're permitted to use were largely determined on the inlet and outlet elevations of our drainage system, and also a desire to maintain, drain cover over the pipe too as well, so it's not too shallow. As expected early on, we proved that the existing McCredie drain does not have sufficient capacity to accommodate the flows from the proposed stormwater management facility. And in company with that, even the residential and agricultural lands east of Centennial Road downstream on the system. So what this all equates to for us in the very bottom bullet is a separate system. Our proposal is to create a watertight HDPE, which is high density polyethylene pipe, that would be devoted exclusively to the stormwater management facility in the Harvest Run subdivision, and then have the concrete field tile accommodate the downstream lands, which is going to be more of your residential and agricultural. Okay, probably hard to see this at that scale. So this is a summary of the work that we're proposing. The existing McCredie drain is to remain. We have what we're calling our Harvest Run component of the pipe, which is that watertight pipe again, between 525 and 900 millimeter diameter, a combination of single and twin systems. And it will accommodate the outflow from stormwater management facility number 1 in the Harvest Run subdivision, which is a 1 in 100 year outflow level too as well. The concrete field tile, which again is more of your private tiling, your residential and agricultural, similar in length, smaller in size, and a much lesser level of service in terms of 1.5 inches for 24-hour drainage coefficient, which is more typical for land drainage here as well. We have included within the report allowable working areas for the contractor for not only construction, but also maintenance in the future. This also relates to allowances provided to the landowners within the report, specifically right-of-way for the existence of the pipe. Landowners can be compensated, or damages, whether it's crop damages or trees or any other element that's being damaged during construction of the work itself. Okay, so I'll put together, and I don't expect anyone to read this based on size, but this is our compiled cost estimate for everything within the work. And just for summary and for council's consideration, here is are the main components of the cost for the McCredie drain. As mentioned, the allowances for right-of-way and allowances for damages. In total, we have a little over $5,600 allocated there. The drain itself, being the McCredie drain construction, we have a little under $400,000 as far as an estimate. The work to support the regional water main, the work to cross Centennial Road are at $68,000 and $42,000 respectively. There's some miscellaneous utility costs and considerations, and the non-construction costs at the bottom, which include our engineering, some of the geotechnical, some of the CCTV, taxes as well. A little over $110,000, and all told, our cost estimate prior to any tendering, of course, or any procurement of services based on past similar tenders, we're sitting a little less than $650,000 in terms of the estimate. Okay. As I believe council will be aware, when the costs are estimated, part of our work is to come up with an assessment table in terms of who pays for those costs. Generally speaking, we follow what's called the modified Todgham method, which is considered a fair and equitable approach in the industry to distribute the costs. Mentioned larger properties tend to pay more. Also, the land use is taken into account. The harder the surfaces, the more potential for runoff. And with the help of the developer's consultant, we've also in our assessment tables reflected higher density areas within the proposed development that would again produce theoretically more runoff. And this is an excerpt of the assessment table for construction of the McCredie works. And this is also in Appendix A of the report that everyone will have. It's the exact same table. Generally speaking, the landowners, including lots, concessions, and description, are listed on the left. And as you move farther to the right on the table, you'll see the affected and the adjusted areas that were taken into account into our assessments. Also, the allowances as mentioned, which are provided to landowners who will have some form of allowance. And the far right-hand column is what we term our net assessment. And that is the out-of-pocket costs based on the estimates that we have in the report. Okay. And finally, we have 3 maintenance assessments that are more so for future use by your drainage superintendent, in the sense that they are expressed as percentages based on some fictitious repair in the future, and they're used prorated to help with future maintenance costs should something need to be done on the drain down the road. Okay, so as I say, 3 assessment tables there. Okay. And that is a very brief rundown. I'll stop sharing screen here and happy to take any questions or comments.
Thank you, Brad. I'm going to ask our deputy clerk, have you received any correspondence?
Madam Chair, no correspondence has been received.
Okay, do any members of council have any questions concerning this? Seeing none? If anyone who has signed the petition wishes to withdraw their name from it, they may do so now by putting their withdrawal in writing, signing it, and filing it with the Deputy Clerk, Diane Wilson, at dwilson@centralalgon.org. Anyone who has not signed the petition and wishes to do so may add their name to the petition at this time by contacting Diane Wilson at dwilson@centralalgon.org. Before I open the floor to questions from the affected landowners, please be advised that if any affected landowner wishes to receive further information on the actions of council regarding the McCredie drain, please email Diane Wilson at dwilson@centralalgon.org or contact her by phone at the municipal office 519-631-4860, extension 286. We will now open the meeting to questions from the public. If you're listening on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, please click the raise hand icon. And if you've called into the meeting using a telephone, please dial *9. The questions will be answered in a sequential order. When given the opportunity to speak, please provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Perrin, do we have anyone in the waiting room?
You do, Madam Mayor. No questions, though.
No questions?
No.
So if you wanted to ask a question at all, please, this is your chance. So none? Okay, seeing that there have been no questions, since council have no questions, the public have been given a fair opportunity. If there is no further questions, please be advised that any person wishing further information on the actions of council regarding the McCredie drain, please email Diane Wilson, dwilson@centralalgon.org, or contact her by phone at the municipal office, 519-631-4860, extension 286. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, Brad.